All right, everybody. Welcome to Kendall and East Live. We are here talking about colonoscopies. Anthony, who you see right here, Anthony Washington, he hit me up, was it last week, and said he really wanted to do a show on colonoscopies because he had his first one. So, welcome everybody. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this, share this about wherever you see fit, because we're talking about something today that's near and dear to my heart. Um, this is colon cancer awareness, and it's not just for March. So just sit tight. We will be right with you. All right. So let me just take a breath. I said, let me play the intro again and catch my breath because this is something y'all already know. If you follow me, you know what's up. And my daughters are about to take me out for Mother's Day again on today. Today is Monday, the day after Mother's Day also. So I got another dinner for me. But I had to take time to do this show. Anthony, welcome to Kendall Lanice Live right here on YouTube and Instagram. And Facebook. We're going live. All right. So tell me first. Let me just talk about colon cancer. So I have this blue here because colon cancer awareness. The color is blue. March is colon cancer awareness month. We are in May right now, and I don't want you to forget about colon cancer awareness because March has ended, April has begun, and now we are in May. This is a year-long feat journey for many people. And people throughout the years are going to get colonoscopies, hopefully. Whether it's January or November, people are getting colonoscopies. And I was really vocal colon cancer awareness month in March. And I've been telling my story since last March when I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And they tell us that 50 years old is the age to start getting colonoscopies. So I went 3 months shy of my 50th birthday. Doctors say, okay, your 50th is approaching. So I've heard that for forever. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get my colonoscopy. That's all, that's what I'm supposed to do. No big deal. One of my girlfriends was taking me because she had just had one. I was like, okay, cool. Let me go get this colonoscopy. Before that, you got to do all of this preparation. You either take pills or drink a fluid because some of them are different that coats your stomach and you release everything, because when they do the colonoscopy scope is looking at your colon, and you get yourself ready to do that. Are you playing? I hear.
Let me stop it. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm gonna stop it. Sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
And so you have to prepare. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do a colonoscopy because they put you to sleep. And I ask, do you want to be put to sleep permanently? Because if you don't get your colonoscopy, that may happen. So I was going to get my colonoscopy, and God kept nudging me. You know how when people say something kept nudging me? It's God that kept nudging me saying, go earlier than your 50th birthday. Had I would have waited, I might not even be here. So that colonoscopy, God goes without saying, God saved my life. But God gives us wisdom. And he told me to go get that colonoscopy early. Now, since last May of 2021, they changed the age to 45. Especially with Black people, it should be even younger than that if you have a history or not. Because I didn't have any symptoms. I was walking around with cancer for how long? I don't know. And I didn't even know it. So I go get my colonoscopy, and after my colonoscopy, right there, right there that day after the colonoscopy, they told me I had colon cancer. The doctor told me that. So, of course, my mind was blown. I wasn't expecting that. You know, if someone would have told me that I had colon cancer, I would have thought that I would have been crying, screaming, and I just was kind of numb. And I said, okay, so what now? He said, we'll remove that. You'll go to a surgeon and they'll remove that part of your colon and reattach your colon. Now, I didn't know stage, you know, all of that. I wasn't going to tell anybody other than my immediate family. I wasn't even going to tell my mom and everything. You know, my daughter told my sister, then my sister asked if she can tell my mom. Then she asked if she could tell my brother. I really wasn't even going to tell anybody because when people hear the word cancer, everybody else freaks out. And I wanted to stay as calm and as peaceful as I could. And I didn't want anyone else to make me feel like I was dying or make me feel like, you know, something was going to happen at that point. Right? So that decided not to tell anybody, but some of my family knew. Everybody didn't know about cancer. All right. So when it finally came down to the come down, I had to get surgery about a week later. My mom kept saying, well, what stage? I was like, Mom, I don't care what stage because I have it. It doesn't matter. When people start hearing the numbers, you know, that's the first thing people ask, and they want to hear the number, what stage. But that could happen. Two things can happen when you know the stage. You can panic and think you're going to die, or you can look at it for what it is and say, what is it, and assess the situation in that way. But I didn't care about what stage because I knew I had cancer, and I didn't want whether they said 4 or 3 or 1 or 0. I didn't want that to affect my peace and what I was trying to do, and that was to cope and to deal and to pray and to deal with cancer. So after my surgery, I find out that I had stage 2 carcinoma of the descending colon. And if I waited until my 50th birthday, like they said, I may not be here. So I have been very vocal, and that's just the short version. If you want to hear my journey, you know, where I really detail things, it's right here on my YouTube channel. I have a 4-minute one, which I did for the Colon Rectal Alliance. They asked me to do a video. So that's about a 4-minute video. And then I have, I think like a 30-minute video where I go into detail. So if you want to see it, it's right here on my YouTube channel. And I think the playlist is my cancer story, my colon cancer story, something like that. So I'm an advocate. So then it's been a year. So I just had to get another colonoscopy a few weeks ago. So, of course, I was stressed out, worried, concerned, praying like crazy because the last time where I wasn't even thinking about it, you know, you pray for it, but I wasn't even thinking about it. Didn't even think that that was going to be an issue. But I had to go back to the same place where they told me I had cancer. So I had some anxiety when I got into that room, like my heart was beating fast, like I was feeling anxious, like I couldn't sit there. I felt like I couldn't breathe because the last time I was there, they told me I had cancer. So to doing it again, I'm like, well, what if, or oh my God, or what if it's back? So I was really a mess that day. My daughters took me and I was like, can I go back out to hug my daughters? Like what? I was really a mess. And then I had to sit and pray and then breathe and then really just calm myself down because that was the first time I had been back since they told me I had cancer. So I had to breathe. They put me to sleep. They did it. Then they finished. They said that I had some polyps, and polyps are the beginning of colon cancer. So even a year later, I had polyps. But he told me he was sending it to the lab, and they were going to do a biopsy, and I would know in 5 to 10 days. Now, telling somebody who had cancer that now you have polyps and let's wait. But what assured me, and the nurse assured me, and the doctor assured me, like, hey, listen, when you had cancer before, we told you right there. We think that's what it is. We see it. We do this all the time. So that gave me comfort. And also God gave me comfort, like, I'm not doing this to you again. I need you here so you can continue to spread the word. So, of course, my biopsy, you know, came back cancer-free. And I have to go back in 6 months. Before they wanted me to go every year. Now they're saying 6 months just to make sure. And I don't have a problem with it. I would rather, go back each time I'm supposed to go back than to not know. So had I not had that colonoscopy, I can't even imagine. So when Anthony said, hey, I want to do a show, with you because I just got my first colonoscopy. So I'm going to ask you, so welcome Anthony Washington. I just wanted to just share some of that for those that don't know. But Anthony, welcome again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. I just had mine done last week,
Okay, I want to
Tuesday.
ask you. I want to ask you, one, if my story inspired you to get it or to make sure you got it, and two, were you nervous? Were you afraid? And tell the people if this is your first one, and then go on.
Well, let's go back to when we did the end of the year, when we did um, the show that you had with multiple people you had on the show, and I was one of your guests.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually talked about the colonoscopy then in December.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting to be scheduled. I wasn't scheduled yet, but my doctor had already told me, we want to have yours done. Okay. And so what happened was when you had talked about it, I had not been scheduled for my colonoscopy yet. And that was your sheer story at the end of 2021 going into 2022. Um, so once they contacted me and let me know that it was being done, then okay, mentally I had you to remember, okay, she just went through the same thing, just not recently. I began to start praying. I want to use God in this situation because it's true. Um, and I started praying. I went to my pastor, he prayed with me and everything, and I was nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little nervous because I waited 2 years later to get my colonoscopy.
Mm.
I was supposed to get my colonoscopy at 50.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get my colonoscopy till I turned 52.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's what happened.
Okay, let me just let people know when colon rectal cancer is found at an early stage before it has spread, the 5-year relative survival rate is about 90%. That's huge, but only about 4 out of 10 colon rectal cancers are found at the early stage. When cancer has spread outside the colon or the rectum, survivor rates are lower. And it asks the question, can a colonoscopy save your life? In fact, it is one of the few diagnosis procedures known to save lives. Deciding to forego colonoscopies can put you at risk of losing your life and taking you away from your loved ones. For this reason, it is important that everyone gets their colonoscopy. And that's straight on Google. And it goes into the McLeod Health Organization. Overall, colon rectal cancer is highly preventable. And if you detect it early, it is also one of the most curable types of cancer. Up to 85% of colon rectal cancers could be prevented or successfully treated if everyone who is eligible for a colonoscopy got a screening.
Okay. Now, with that being said, so I went and had mine done. And the first thing the doctor asked me, um, is there any history of colon cancer in your family? I said no. But my mother had colonoscopy done. She had some things removed. And my grandmother had some things removed.
Now, let me pause you right there because this is so important. Everybody watching, please understand this. Please understand this. You have to educate yourself, and I'm here to help you, right? Because that right there is what they don't ask you. You know this based off of what your mother and father may have told you, but doctors don't ask you. They ask you just what you just said. Do you have a history of colon cancer? So if your family, your parents had not had colon cancer, then the answer would be no. And what the doctors need to ask is, has any one of your parents had polyps?
Yes.
They don't ask that.
Yes. And my
And
grandmother had some
part of
removed. Yeah, and my mom had some removed, and she was. But the funny thing is, when I had mine's done, is they said, okay, we've removed 4 polyps.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? And they said, well, they were a little larger than what I don't like the size of them.
mm-hmm,
Okay. So what they did was they said, okay, we're gonna get a biopsy done on yours.
mm-hmm,
And when they removed mine, I had to wait 7 to 10
mm-hmm.
days, but mine
Yep,
came back a little bit faster.
yep.
Actually, I had my surgery done on Tuesday. They actually came back with mine
Your
results on
surgery or
Friday.
colonoscopy?
Colonoscopy. I tell everybody surgery. I ain't want everybody know I was getting.
Oh, okay. You told,
Yeah,
okay.
I'll
Okay.
tell everybody I was getting surgery. I ain't tell everybody I was getting a colonoscopy.
You
But
should.
what I told my family that I was getting it done. I didn't tell my coworkers that I was getting it done. But
Wow.
what I did was because it was private at the time, you know, and
Mm-hmm,
me, I'm being private.
mm-hmm,
And they removed 4 polyps.
mm-hmm,
Mine came back benign. They were not cancerous.
mm-hmm,
Okay. But the doctor said the same thing to me that he said to you. I want you back in a year to make sure you're good.
mm-hmm,
Okay. And so what happened was they gave me this particular spreadsheet,
mm-hmm,
and they said, well, we would like to increase your fiber in your
mm-hmm,
diet,
mm-hmm,
which is decreases the amount of
mm-hmm,
polyps being developed in your body. I
mm-hmm,
don't have a high fiber diet.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? I
mm-hmm,
eat a lot of chicken, I eat rice, I eat fish,
mm-hmm,
but I don't eat a lot of brands. I don't eat a
mm-hmm,
lot of fiber.
mm-hmm. You there? Now, what Anthony is talking about is high fiber diets. I don't know if we lost him, but I want to talk about that. Let me just make sure if you can, if you're watching, please, if you can hear me, just drop in the comments that you can hear me because I want to make sure because he just froze. So I just want to make sure you can hear me. So if you can hear me and you're watching, just please put a thumbs up in the comments so I know. And I'm just want to make sure I'm going to go to YouTube to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, you can hear me. I see that he's the one stuck. Okay, so let me just, so Anthony is talking about a high fiber diet, right? So he'll be back on. He must have lost connection. But Anthony said his doctor told him when he got the colonoscopy to have a high fiber diet. And sometimes that causes colonoscopy, colon cancer or polyps if you don't have a high fiber diet. And I ate a lot of fiber and it still happened. So maybe he didn't eat enough, or maybe that's just one of the factors. So, in case you're wondering what a high fiber diet is, let me just give you some examples. Beans. Love me some beans. That's a high fiber food. All kinds of beans. Let me give you another one. Whole grains. And you heard Anthony say that he didn't eat a lot of whole grains. That's high fiber. So if you want to protect that colon, make sure you do that. Apples. Apples, believe it or not, are high in fiber. When most people think about fiber, they don't think about apples, but apples are high in fiber. Um, Spinach. Spinach is high in fiber. When Popeye was looking for that spinach and it said, you know, when you were little, eat your spinach, it makes you strong, but it also can save your life with colon cancer. So I love spinach. Now don't eat it so well done that you lose all the nutrition in there. And a lot of people, especially black folks, we like to season it and make sure it's good and cooked. And but eat it as a salad, use, instead of lettuce, use spinach, use kale. Those are high in fiber, right? And it's important to do that. You don't always have to cook it. Broccoli is high in fiber, and the same with broccoli. You want to keep some of the nutrition in there. You can eat raw broccoli. That's where the fiber really is. And if you do cook it, just blanch it just a little bit, just to warm it up. Don't eat it real limp. If you're eating your broccoli limp, then you're taking out all the nutrition that you need. Flax seeds. Now, flax seeds are good. I put them in my smoothies. You can put those in your smoothies. You can put those in your foods. You can't really, you can grind them. Like you can actually buy them grinded where it looks like dust, almost like sawdust. It looks like a little bit like brown sugar. But you can buy the actual seeds. And what I do is I just mix them in there. And if I eat some of the suit. Oh, thank you. Hey girl, I lost Anthony. Hopefully he comes back. He wanted me to do this show because he just got his colonoscopy. If you're just tuning in. Pears, to me, it says absolutely. You want to be able to do that. Carrots. And again, Black folks and people who love their food, we're not talking about candied carrots and sweet carrots and with a lot of syrup on it and a lot of, brown sugar. That's okay to have, but you want to make sure you still keep the nutrition in your vegetables. And I know we like to season, we like stuff to taste good, but you want to eat to live and not live to eat, right? And it's not so much about the taste of it all, even though you can still make it and it's good and it tastes like you want it, and you can still have the nutritional value. Chia seeds, same thing. You can put those in, and all of this stuff you can find at your local grocery store. Let's see what else. And let me just make sure, Anthony is all right. Give me 1 second because there he is. I was going to say he's the one that wanted to do this show. He is back. Let me finish with this list and I will go. Quinoa. Now, I don't like quinoa, but if it's going to save my life, can I have some quinoa, please? And most people can't say it. It is so funny when you hear people try to say quinoa. So I'm going to spell it. You're going to be like, oh, that's what that is. Quinoa. Quinoa. That's how you pronounce it. And it's like people use it, almost looks like rice cut in half. And it's okay, but remember, we are eating to live and not living to eat. Like, ooh, when's my next meal? We're using it for fuel. We're using it to, jumpstart our health and to keep our health on the right track. And even my surgeon was like, you eat the way you're supposed to eat. Like I'm flabbergasted on even why you got it, but something had to be lacking. Something had to be going on with, family history. Then I found out my mom had polyps. So like I was talking about it earlier, when you go to the doctor, they'll ask you if you have a history of colon cancer, but they don't ask you if your parents had polyps. That's a question that you want to ask your parents, if they're still living, or talk to some aunts or uncles to see if your parents had ever talked about it. Now, if I understand, if a lot of people don't have access to their biological parents, and I get that, then I would suggest maybe gene testing, if you could do that, just to know what it is. Welcome back, Anthony.
Now, thank you. I was listening to what you was saying. I couldn't hear you. I mean, you couldn't hear me. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is, what the doctor was just telling me is, increasing your fiber. Mm-hmm. And here's the funny thing is, I was an advocate for cleansing.
While you weren't there, while you weren't on, I went through all the list of the different types of fibers, like raspberries, blueberries. I went through everything. So when you look at the playback, you'll see some of the things. Sweet potatoes are big on it. I went through a whole list. So definitely, artichokes. Allow Google to be your friend, guys. If you want to know what a high fiber diet is, one of my daughter's friends is a nutritionist. She went to college for that. I can get you a list if you need a list. I can get a list like that. If you want me to post that, send that around, whatever you need to help you, I will. But go ahead, please.
But before I had my colonoscopy, I was a big person on cleansing. So I would go to your health food stores. I would go to your holistic stores and I would get Super Cleanse. I would get those kind of things. And I would cleanse twice a year. But the thing is, I didn't have a high fiber diet, as far as that is concerned. But what I did do was, when I went to get the colonoscopy, and they were saying to me, it's okay, well, we did remove these things from you, okay? And we want you back in a year. And I said, okay. But when they came back on Friday, 3 days after my colonoscopy, I actually got my results back 3 days later. I didn't wait 7 to 10 days.
I got my back.
They had mine back within 3 days, from the colonoscopy. But one thing that people have to understand, people say, well, that's not surgery. But you still have to be careful what you do. I have to stress this. Don't People say you can eat what you want. I couldn't do that. I couldn't just eat anything that I wanted to eat after the colonoscopy, because I started getting really bad gas. I was having not
You're not
stomach
supposed to eat
pain.
any leafy. You're not After your colonoscopy. You're not supposed to have any fiber or leafy
Right.
vegetables. Yeah.
And I ate what I wanted. So like yesterday, I called my mom. I was really going through a stomach pain. And she said, no, 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 no. You need to eat light for a while. So I ate rice. I had some rice or something like that, something that my body, because what I was going through, she said the medicine is still in your system. Your body's still going through changes. Because it's starting all over again. And when you take something, and the prep, that's the one thing I would talk about, the prepping. The prepping was pretty bad for me. I can't speak for everybody else. But the prepping was a little bit intense because I never took anything that strong before.
I'm going to pause you again. Guys, if you want to know what prepping we're talking about, I have a video on here, and I go through the whole prepping process. So that's on my colon cancer, and I just did that last month. That's on my colon cancer journey or something like that playlist. So check that. But go ahead, Anthony.
And one of the things, the prepping was that I went through with the prepping, I had to say to myself, well, they said they give you a list of things that you can drink and the things that you can eat. You're supposed to stay away from anything red, anything purple. Okay. So I didn't drink anything like red apple juice. I didn't even have apple juice. I just pretty much drank ginger ale, or I just drank like water. You know what I'm saying? I kind of kept it kind of like simple. I didn't eat anything because I didn't want to activate my system to become hungry. So it was easier for me to fast and just drink fluids.
You couldn't eat anything anyway. You have to be, before you get your colonoscopy, you can't eat. You have to be
No,
on
no, no.
liquid.
The prepping day, the prepping day, they told me I could have Jello.
Yeah.
Or like frozen pops.
Yeah.
Like
Liquid.
frozen fruit
Yeah.
pops. Yes.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
popsicles. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I didn't eat. I didn't have popsicles, and I didn't even do the Jello. I didn't want anything. So I just drank all day long. So, and I was still able to take my medication. What I mean? They said, well, do you have to eat? I said, no, my medication doesn't bother my stomach. I can take my medication as long as I have something to drink. I'm fine. So the day of the prepping, the stuff they gave me for the colonoscopy to put me under was some good stuff, because I didn't think anything happened when I woke up.
That's what anesthesia does. You don't
I
know
felt nothing. All I know, I woke up. I was like, I thought I woke up. We ain't had it yet. I woke up. Okay, you woke. Yeah, I'm woke. So that's kind of like what the whole situation was. And I took the faith journey. I took the faith side of it because I'm a spiritual person. So I read scriptures. I listened to the word of God. I did all of those things because I wanted a good report back. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to receive a good report. But the thing is, when my mom went through it, my grandma went through it, neither one of them were cancerous. Theirs weren't cancerous. So the thing is that I did come on the show and say, don't wait long. Don't wait long, because that's God's grace that at 52, I didn't have cancerous polyps, but I had polyps. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something you want to play around with, because those things grow, over time if you're not careful. And I was taking cleansing. I was doing like, I would do super clean. I was doing all of those things, but it does not remove colon polyps.
And you believe it or not, water is one of the best things for you. When it comes to your colon and cleaning it out. Like, you can Google 9,000 different ways to remove toxins from your body and what kind of cleanse you should do. And they will tell you that the number one cleanse that you need to do is flush your body out with as much water as possible. It's so important. Like, people, you hear that. I mean, we've heard it our whole lives. Drink water. Make sure you drink water. But it is so crucial with something simple like that. And I know people who don't like water, who don't drink water. But, water is so important when it comes to clearing out your colon and the toxins in your body. Nothing
Exactly.
is 100% proof. Like you could say, I drank all the water, but I still got it. But you want to be able to survive it, even if you get it.
The most important thing that I learned from this situation was awareness, the
Mhm.
importance of having a colonoscopy. I heard it from you from the experience that you had going into 2021, and I'm like, wow, Kendall, I didn't know you was going through that. To me, myself having a colonoscopy, and I had to wait the anxiety of 48 to 72 hours of my results to come back. So that's
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's a
That's
real,
scary. That's a
and
scary
like,
situation.
yeah, they say, do you have a living will? What are you like? Okay, no, I had one when my kids were young, but it's like you need to think about we're here because of God's grace. Let's
Amen.
just, it's just what it
Let's
is.
pause on that. Right.
Yeah, we're here because of God's grace, and we can't take advantage because you can't assume anything. If the doctor said this is what we need to do, then you do that because it prolongs your life. You know, we're getting older. So,
Yeah.
the thing is that what I learned from what you told me that after you had your cancer bout and then you had your first birthday, you were cancer free, that you went out and party. Okay. You went out and had a good time because you knew the importance of what just happened. And you
Because I
wanted to
was
thank,
turning 50. That's right.
right.
I had a 50 and free birthday party. I had small amount of people, had masks on, a real small amount. But I wanted to because the first thing I asked, I was scared. I wanted to make it to 50. I had
Yeah.
3 months to 50. My one daughter was graduating from college. My other daughter's birthday was coming around the corner. And I looked at that surgeon. It was like, I want to live. He said, you ain't gonna mess up my good track record. You gonna live. And I
Yeah.
wanted to live. So I was like, and that was still to this day one of the most fun times. I said, if I'll be dancing in there by myself and people that know that came, that small group, I was dancing all night long because it could have been a situation where we would have been at my funeral. Let's just keep it real. And I
Well,
might not have made it to the 50. So I was 50 and free. And and it's just like, wow, God. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
what after my situation of coming through it, waiting on the results, it just came to me on Friday and said, you know what? Live each day of your life.
Mm-mm,
Don't assume nothing.
mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? If you say, well, I'm gonna go on a vacation, go.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do something in life, go because
yeah,
there's nothing promised.
yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I watched the situation
Fact.
with Kevin Samuels and like nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry that happened to him, but
Facts.
I don't assume nothing. So every day that God shows me something that I'm going to do, if I have a dream about something I'm about to do, I look forward to that because
Mm-hmm.
you have hope.
Yeah,
You know, I'll
yeah.
be turning 53 this October, and I'm sitting there like, you know what?
Come on,
I'm having a
53.
party. I'm having a party. You know what I'm saying?
You
I'm
have
going to
it
do an
down in
80s
South
party.
because you in South Carolina, right?
Yes, yes, I'm going to have a party because the thing is, my daughter gets married this December, and when you having a colonoscopy, and you know that your child is having a wedding, she wants you to walk her down the aisle, and you be like, "Whoa, man, this is serious." You know what I'm saying? And
Life.
you're waiting on this
Yeah,
results.
yeah.
And I had faith that I was going to be all right. I had faith and belief that I was going to be fine. But then there's that hope and
Window.
expectation, right? I gotta
Mm.
walk my daughter down the aisle this December.
Ain't it deep though? It like puts
Yes,
everything in perspective. It's so deep because I never take life for granted. I didn't take life for granted then, before then. But now, even more, I'm like anything that compromises my peace, my sanity, good vibrations, my prayer life, like anything, like I can't afford to entertain it because life is precious. Like people are literally here today and gone tomorrow, literally.
yeah. But
And
my
it's like you want to be, you can't be scared to live. You got to praise
no,
God all the way through, like you said, for giving you grace, but you got to spend the days happy. being of service, giving, smiling, laughing, doing the things that you always wanted to do. You know how people would wait to do stuff or be like, I'm not going to wear this outfit until I go somewhere. And you got this outfit, you ain't been nowhere in 6-7 years and the outfit still got your tags on. Wear it for yourself. Take yourself out. Don't wait to live. Live now, for real.
One thing I told my mom, and one of the things my mother said to me right before the colonoscopy, and she said, I already saw what God is getting ready to do with you next. So what she told me, it's almost like you have to see on the other side of what you've already saw. And when you go through this type of crisis in life, it's okay. I got to pass through this storm. You know what I'm saying? And when you get something, and it is a near-death experience, it is a life-changing experience because it is life or death. You're waiting to get the results back on what you did in a timely fashion. And did I do it in enough time? And when I got my colonoscopy done, I was blessed to do it in a timely fashion where they were able to see, no, you're good. You don't have colon cancer, but we do want you back in a year. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine and they were talking about an athlete whose father died from colon cancer. And he gets colonoscopies on a regular, and he's on a fast track. We didn't talk about the fast track, okay? And the one thing about people who are at risk, and then you have people who come from a history of colon cancer, the doctors will put you on what they call a fast track, and then you'll probably see them a little bit more for your colonoscopy than people that's waiting a 5-year check or a 10-year check.
Because some people, they'll tell them not to go back for 5 years, not to go back for 10 years.
Right.
And then they'll tell some people, like, now I have to go back in 6 months. And then I'll have to go back every year, for 3 years. And then you even said they asked you to come back because you did have polyps to come back in a year. I'm going to just keep it real. Pay attention to your poop, because a lot of times that's where signs are. And a lot of people always ask, well, what were your symptoms? What were your signs? I didn't have any. 7 out of 10 people do not have them. But if you have rectal bleeding, it's either bright red or very dark color. That could be a sign or a symptom. Change in your bowel habits, like whether you've gone all the time and then you don't, or whether you did, you don't go and now you're going. If there's a change in your habit, not a change in changing your poop too, but your habits, if that changes, abdomen discomfort, stools that are narrower than usual, like really, really skinny, pay attention, frequent gas pains, a feeling that your bowel isn't completely empty, unexpected weight loss, and constant tiredness. Those are some of the common symptoms and signs. Now, I've had surgery to remove part of my colon, and sometimes I forget. I was sitting there thinking one day, thinking about this journey, Anthony, and I was like, I don't have part of my colon. And when I went to the surgeon, my year, and I was telling him, I was like, sometimes, if I'm, how they say beans give you gas, and that's high fiber. All of those things give you gas. Now, you may not have gas, and I might have gas because I'm set up differently now. But even if I did not survive cancer or did not have a piece of my colon taken out, everyone processes foods differently. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have colon cancer. Everyone processes food differently. And I every time I poop, I look in the toilet to make sure. You want to look at it. Don't just get up, flush it, wipe yourself, and go. Like, you really want to look at it to make sure it's healthy. And pay attention to your body. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you what's going on with you. You have to be able to listen. And even if your body doesn't tell you anything, make sure you get your proper testing. And we're talking about colonoscopies.
Yeah. And one of the things that I remember is like, okay, that one of the things that I said once I came off my colonoscopy that I'm going to have to have a change in my diet. You know, I'm going to have to start eating more things that's going to be, like you said earlier, eat to live, not just eating just for
Mhm.
pleasure. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So one of the conscious decisions that I made was to cut red meat out of my diet. So I said,
Mhm.
okay, I want to eat red meat only twice a year, Father's Day and my birthday. That's it.
I haven't
You
had
know,
red meat in probably 15, 16 years. I haven't had chicken in about 8 or 9 years.
wow,
I haven't
wow,
even, and I've never eaten pork a day in my life.
wow.
I've never eaten pork. I'm a pescatarian. I do eat fish and, but I haven't eaten, I can't even remember the last time I ate red meat.
Yeah,
I probably was in my 30s, maybe.
right,
Maybe.
right.
And chicken, like I said, I've been saying 9 years for a minute. It's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
But
Those little changes. That's good, Anthony.
yeah, because the thing is what I had to say to myself. Okay, these things are set up for a reason. Oh, I almost forgot one more part. The nurse practitioner that was talking to me about my colonoscopy once I got my results back, and she said you have to understand the aging process. You know what I'm saying? And when she was saying that in this aging process, you need to pay attention to how you eat because your body doesn't digest the foods as
Mm-hmm.
well as it did in
Mm-hmm.
your teens, your 20s, your 30s. Now that the body is going down. So it was
Mm-hmm.
one particular lady who was getting the colonoscopy done, and she was in her late 70s. She said, you're going to have to start processing that you're not going to be able to eat the way you used to eat
Mm-hmm.
because she said the older you get, your body slows down the breaking down of the foods.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll be 53 this October. So it's like, okay, I have to make a conscious decision. Okay, as I'm getting older, I can't go out and get a 17-ounce steak. You
Woo!
know,
That sounds like a lot of meat.
oh, we break it down, bro.
Ooh, that sounds like a lot of meat.
Yeah, a 15-ounce
I
steak, a
ain't had a steak
17-ounce
since
steak.
I was 12. No, I'm just playing, but
Wow.
I haven't had
But
one else right in my 20.
and the funny thing is, one of the things that I started thinking about was becoming a pescatarian.
Mm-hmm.
And I love fish. I love like salmon. I love tuna. I love red snapper. I love different types of fish that I like to eat. But I'm more of a meat person. I love fish, but I like to eat it when I have a taste for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the time for me now to start thinking about, okay, how to increase one of my friends said, when you start increasing your fiber, increase it gradually because your body is going to be a little funny on how it digests that fiber.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, start increasing uh, fiber. And one of the things that I did in research was, okay, I'm gonna start buying brand bites. You
What
know,
brand bites?
yeah, brand bites. The small pieces of fiber.
Mm-hmm.
That's in brand and getting the small brand bites. And they said that actually a year of eating that will drastically change your stool and lessen the opportunities for you to get a colonoscopy. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
colon um, polyps in your stool in your rectum.
Yep. And I'm looking at here like split pea soup. I actually like that. I felt like an old person because I remember old people used to have that. And one day I got it from the store. I put some pepper in it. I was like, this is good.
Yeah,
Oatmeal, of course, is high in fiber. If you're just tuning in, I gave a list of some of the things earlier with high fiber diets. I also, one of my daughter's best friends, she's a nutritionist, went to college for it, got her master's in it. So I'm going to have her give me a high fiber diet list. I had her do that before, but I want to make sure I have this if there's anything updated. And if you need it, I'll send it to you guys watching. Anthony, I'll send it to you.
thank you.
Brussels sprouts, love Brussels sprouts. I had some, this week. Lentils. Um, these are some of the things. Avocado. These are some on Google. Edamame. A lot of people like that. Pears. Tamia talked about those earlier, and I love pears. Um, Definitely Google. I'm going to get this list from a nutritionist. a professional, because it's important for you guys to eat to live and not just live to eat. I can't wait for my next meal. No, you should be like, what does my body need? What kind of fuel? What does my body need to give me maximum results? Just like when you put your car and you get your brand new car and it says it takes premium gas, you will not put regular gas in there. Even if someone said, you know what, even with these high gas prices, and if someone told you, you know what, your car will still run the same, go on and put that regular, you would be like, nope, I'm not putting that regular in there because the manual says put supreme gas. But what about your body? What about the supreme gas that you need for your body to run and live? What
And
about that?
like you were saying about being a pescatarian a few minutes ago, is that as we get older, we have to eat more foods that are superfoods.
There
You know
you
what I'm
go.
saying? Because I don't. One thing I did not do in a year, I didn't eat fast food. I'm not a McDonald's person
Mm-mm.
at all.
And processed foods are the worst foods for you. That pre-made
Yeah,
stuff, the
right.
worst. The
So
worst.
I don't do McDonald's at all. I'm not a Wendy's person. I just don't eat those kind of foods. But
Mm-hmm.
I may go to the Jamaican spot every now and then get my Jamaican food. Of course, I'll do that.
Ooh.
But I'll get stuff like a salad. I'm a big salad person.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that what I had to realize is that what am I eating that are not superfoods? I'm eating clean, but am I eating superfoods?
Yeah.
Like the foods that you had on that list. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not eating those foods. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, okay, now that I'm gonna clean myself out, okay, don't put back into you what you used to eat again. Okay,
Yeah.
start that process of putting those
Yeah.
superfoods back into your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we wind down, what else do you want to share? Because you definitely wanted to do this show. And I want, this kind of show is hard for me to keep quiet. Usually when I have my guests on, I let them do most of the talking. But this from which I know,
Yeah.
I want to help save lives, even if it's just my part. And that's why I ask you, if me going through what I've gone through pushed you even further into, hey, let me get my colonoscopy. And the reason why I ask that is because that's how I want to use my life and use my story
You know,
and a lot of people have inboxed me and text me and said, you know what, I wasn't going to get one, or I didn't get one, but hearing your story, it made me want to get one because, it's not about me.
and the thing is, I want to say, and this is really important for me to say this, and we said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, the last time you had me on. Complacency. This is one of those topics you cannot be complacent. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll get around to it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because at a certain age, it happens too fast, and you don't want the situation to happen that you don't have time to make time. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Because you
that's one.
you might run out of time. How about
Yeah,
that?
because one of the things is like, okay, what I saw, you said you want to get to 50, yeah, I'll get to it. And I was at 50. My doctor said, then this time he said, Anthony, we have not done your colonoscopy. We need to get this done. All right, doc, go ahead and set it up. That's after after I heard your story. It needed to get done. Anthony, don't play around with this. We need to get this done. So when I got it done and they found something, praise God, it was nothing that was cancerous, it was benign. But it's about staying on top of it so
Yeah.
it doesn't get to that position.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't come from the perspective of having colon cancer like you did, but I caught it. Like the nurse said, it was good. This is what the nurse said. It was good that you came in when you came in.
Yeah.
I
Because it had
got it at the right
some
time.
more. Yeah. Had you waited some more time, it could have been a problem.
Right, right.
It could have been a
So that
serious problem.
was,
I'm glad you're saying this.
yeah. And she said, when nurse said, it was good that you came in when you came in. That was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I left, they said, okay, you're good. And the thing is, what I kept, when they called me back the next day and they said, well, how you feeling? She said, Mr. Washington, remember, you cannot be doing everything. You know, so you have to make sure after you have the colonoscopy, sit down and keep still. If you got a job that's a sit down job, then you're fine. But if you got a job that requires lifting and moving heavy machinery, don't do it because it can cause bleeding, you know, after the colonoscopy.
Yeah, because when
You
they
know,
do the
so
biopsy, it's going to cause bleeding, you know, anyway, because they are taking something out of your body to send it to the lab. Now, some people, this is not to scare you all, because some people get their colonoscopies, it comes back completely clean. They don't have to go back for another 5 to 10 years. And sometimes they eat raggedy. So
yeah.
it's one of those things. They eat raggedy. They eat everything they're not supposed to eat, but they don't get colon cancer. You could be doing everything right, eating clean, doing what you do, and you can still, prime
Yeah.
example, get colon cancer, but I'm still here. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to keep talking about it to
And
nauseum.
I am glad, and I'm gonna say this before you end the show. I am so glad that you have made this become a part of your platform. You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? Because I don't think we as a people take it serious enough to know
Yeah.
that it's serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, one thing about it is like, okay, that this is one of those situations. It's the better to have it and not need it, but you had it done,
Yeah.
than not do it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
This is what
Chadwick
I'm,
Boseman. He
yeah,
was
it was a need.
young.
Yeah. You know, and the funny thing is that I'm talking to my brother who's 40 now. I want to talk to him and say, look,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know, at your next birthday, you may seriously want to consider getting this done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's my blood-born brother,
Yeah.
you know, and my youngest brother, he turns 35 this year. I'll talk to say, man, in 5 years, you probably want to think about getting
Yeah.
that done.
And now my
You know what I'm
kids have
saying?
to get it done early because I had
Yeah.
cancer. My daughters have to get it done in their 30s.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was on a show with someone else, and she said she has been getting them since she was in her 30s. And Chadwick Boseman, I think he was still in his 30s. I don't think he reached 40 yet. I can't remember off the dome right now. But I know, let me see, because I know that he was young. He wasn't close to 50 at all. He died, yeah, he was just in his early 40s.
Yeah.
And
So
he
maybe if he had got it done at age 40,
yeah.
that might have
Yeah,
been enough time to
he
catch
was
it. I don't
born
know.
he was born 1976. Yep. But
Yeah.
I just want to encourage everybody to, you know, get those colonoscopies. A lot of times people say they don't want to be put under anesthesia, and I say, and I'll continue to say it. Do you want to be put to sleep forever? You know, be an advocate for your health. Listen to your body. You know, get to know your body. Ask questions. Don't have the white coat syndrome where if the doctor says something, you just take it as Bible. No, you be an advocate for yourself. Well, what does that mean? Well, this person had polyps. So, okay, so when do I do this? I don't want to wait until I'm 45. I want to do it now, you know, and I really hope that insurances, you know, start allowing people to have windows where they can get it and not have to wait until they're 45. And I know the colon and rectal alliance is working on that, where insurance will still cover it. um it's so important that you get your colonoscopy and get your mammograms and get your prostates taken care of. You know, this is your only body. This is your temple. And I don't want you to waste time. I don't want you to be afraid. You know, you pray
Uh-huh.
and you go take care of your body. Eat what you're supposed to eat. If the doctor tells you to eat what you're supposed to eat, research, do your own research. Figure out what makes your body work. Everybody's body is different. I want you all to live, you know, to
Yeah.
live. So important to be an advocate for your health.
Now, some people would like to get the screening done, and they said, "Well, I'm going to get the screening." And I said to people that asked me about it just recently after I had the colonoscopy, "Well, I'm about to go get screened." I said, "Look, at this age, just go let them do it." You know what I'm saying? And say if it's nothing, then it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just go take a bowel movement test and say, "Well," but that doesn't mean you don't have polyps. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I tell anybody, if you're over 50, just go ahead and get the procedure done.
Yeah.
Let them look inside and make sure everything is good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because what is it going
Opposed to
to hurt?
relying on testing. It
Exactly.
can't hurt. It can't.
Yep. And make sure you just, because I want everybody to live out there. You can use my story to tell somebody, hey, she was doing what she's supposed to do. She still got cancer. And me telling my story, I'm telling you, Anthony, you don't know how many inboxes I get in. Well, I went to go get one because I saw your story, or to share my such and such didn't make it and they had colon cancer. Or they told me, like you just said, I got there just in time. People are sharing, asking questions like, what were your symptoms? If I say none, then they ask, well, where do you go? I'm like saying I will go with people if they need to go. So what I want to do, if whoever's watching, if you're watching it live or the playback, I have a gift for you. If you book your colonoscopy, drop your colonoscopy appointment date in the comments wherever. Come on over to YouTube to do that. If you're watching on Facebook, hopefully I'll be able to see. I know I definitely get the notifications when someone leaves a comment and on YouTube. But I will do a drawing. This is the second time I've done this. People were dropping when they were getting. If you already had it, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. But the contest or the giveaway, I should say, will be for people who book their appointments from today out. I had two winners. I had one winner, and then of course I was a sucker. I did two people, and I sent out gifts to them from LeniceBoutique.com, free gifts when they did that, because it's so important. If a giveaway is going to help you do it, I'm all for it. I'm giving it away.
And I
So drop your colonoscopy appointment date in the comments.
and I'm gonna say this, they'll continue to do this because it's like, okay, this is one of those type of things that need to be done just as much as you to go see your annual checkup with your doctor. It
Yep.
needs to be more understood, the seriousness and the severity of having a colonoscopy done, because everybody doesn't have that opportunity to say, well, you know, I didn't have anything, or somebody come in like myself. It's like, it was good that you came in, but I think that you keep doing this because it's more needed than what everybody is saying.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you, wanting to say, hey, hitting me up like, and I want to do a show. I want to share part of my story, because when they see you as a Black man, it is known, it's history that a lot of Black men do not go to the doctor. They do not get their checkups, their annual checkups. They do not get their screenings. So as a Black man, I commend you for doing that, and I'm glad even that you waited. I'm still glad that you went. And the reason why I asked you earlier, why did you tell people you're getting surgery and not the colonoscopy? Because I want you to be that too. Like, hey, I got a colonoscopy. Did you get yours? Because that's how we're going to save lives.
You're right. You're right. And I just had to come out of my pride on that one and
I
just tell it
understand.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, because it's like, you don't want to tell everybody your business. I get it. And I understand. But you mentioning that and seeing, hey, if Anthony did it, because you look what you do for a living. You coach Olympians. You coach, people who have made it to the Olympics. He's a track and field coach, y'all. And some of the names, like he's a professional athlete, athletic trainer. So think about the people on the field, the people that are coaching with you, the people that you have coached. If you just mention, they might be like, first of all, what is that? When do I get it? And they'll start asking you questions. That's how we'll be able to change this death rate. Seriously.
Yeah. It's a serious situation, man, because at the same time now it's like, with family members, you may have one family member that don't have anything, but then that other family member that may carry that one that's just like everybody else, like,
Yeah.
they need to get it done.
Yeah.
And it's just a part of what I've made up in my mind. And this is between me and you. I've actually made up in my mind since they said, well, we need you back in a year. I'm about to contact them back and go ahead and set it up for next year at the same time,
Good job. And
and go ahead and get it done.
good job. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you. Well, thank you, for coming on here and talking about it, because at first you weren't even able to talk about it. You were saying surgery. So now look at you right here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know who you're going to inspire, and you wanting to do this, my hat off to you. I salute you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I will always make time to pop on the camera if we talking about this. Like that's gonna be.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to get some a seafood boil for Mother's Day. Some
And you
potatoes.
enjoy, and happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, and you enjoy.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for taking a moment. A lot of you stayed with us live. I'm so appreciative of this because sometimes you talk about health and different things like this, and we not shucking and jiving. Some people may not want to listen because they don't want it. They're like, oh, that don't apply to me. But you never know in life what may apply to you. So thank you so much. And if you know someone that may be scared to get a colonoscopy or, they're having issues or problems, definitely send this video their way, especially if it's a Black male. Please send this video. Thank you so much for tuning in to Kendall and Niece Live. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much. Bye, Anthony.
Bye, Kendall.
All right. Make sure you go get your colonoscopies today. Remember the giveaway. So drop it in the comments, your booking date of your appointment, and you will be entered into a drawing. Take care, y'all.